dedicated to helping children. The UNICEF mission states UNICEF is mandated by the United Nations General Assembly to advocate for the protection of children's rights, to help meet their basic needs, and to expand their opportunities to reach their full potential. The United Nations Children's Fund is a United Nations agency responsible for providing humanitarian and developmental aid to children worldwide. Operating out of UN headquarters in New York City, it is among the most widespread and recognizable social welfare organizations in the world. Immunizations and disease prevention, administering treatment for children and mothers with HIV, enhancing childhood and maternal nutrition, improving sanitation, promoting education, and providing emergency relief in response to disasters are key activities of UNICEF. As the world's largest provider of vaccines for developing countries, UNICEF supports child health and nutrition, good water and sanitation, quality basic education for all children, and the protection of children from violence, exploitation, and AIDS. UNICEF is funded entirely by the voluntary contributions of individuals, businesses, foundations, and governments. Formerly known as the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund from 1946 to 1953, the fund was created in 1946 to provide relief to children in countries devastated by World War II. After 1950, the fund directed its efforts toward general programs for the improvement of children's welfare, particularly in less developed countries and in various emergency situations. The organization's broader mission was reflected in the name it adopted in 1953, the United Nations Children's Fund. UNICEF has concentrated much of its effort in areas in which relatively small expenditures can have a significant impact on the lives of the most disadvantaged children, such as the prevention and treatment of disease. In keeping with this strategy, UNICEF supports immunization programs for childhood diseases and programs to prevent the spread of HIV/AIDS. It also provides funding for health services, educational facilities, and other welfare services. Since 1996, UNICEF programs have been guided by the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which affirms the right of all children to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of health and to facilities for the treatment of illness and rehabilitation of health. UNICEF is under the parent organizations United Nations General Assembly and United Nations Economic and Social Council. It is currently headed by Executive Director Henrietta H. Fore. The fund operates in over 190 countries, from Angola to Zimbabwe in Africa, Antigua to the Virgin Islands in the Americas, Afghanistan to Vietnam in Asia, Albania to the United Kingdom in Europe, Algeria to Yemen in the Middle East, and the American Samoa to Vanuatu in Oceania. In 1965, UNICEF was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. UNICEF celebrated 1979 as the International Year of the Child for focusing people's attention on the rights of children. It has supported AIDS education and helps families of its victims. Health centers and maternity homes have been established. Poverty-stricken, disabled, demented, and victims of other emergencies are provided special protection. With UNICEF's efforts, a World Summit for Children was held at UN headquarters attended by representatives of 150 countries. Thus, along with other UN agencies, UNICEF has achieved considerable success in achieving its goals. In the Philippines, UNICEF is able to respond rapidly to a natural disaster or humanitarian emergency upon the request of the Philippine government. UNICEF's emergency response programs provide support to the government-led response in the areas of child protection, education, health, nutrition, and water sanitation and hygiene. Recently, UNICEF has provided assistance to those affected by the Marawi crisis, Typhoon Nakten, Typhoon Haima, Typhoon Melor, Typhoon Kopu, Typhoon Hagupit, Typhoon Haiyan, and the Zamboanga City crisis.